Today we're going to be back judging people on r/I'm an a-hole. I'm an a-hole for screaming at my husband and his sister to get out of my kitchen. I won't lie, I'm going to be a bit biased here because whenever I'm in the kitchen, I like to be alone. Even if someone walks in for a split second, I explode in them. My husband's sister, 38, lives with us and our kids. I'm well beyond fed up of her being here because of food issues. That's the only reason. So basically, every single time I make food, his sister will come in and doctor up the food I'm making to her liking. Like I made steak and shrimp the other day, and she waited until I left the room to put a full stick of butter in my shrimp. It was already done, and when I came back in, she goes, "I'm pretty sure that's the taste you were looking for." I'm so sorry, what? So basically you're making food and she's correcting it. Nah, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Do that to your own food. Don't do that to other people's food. And completely ruined it. I mean, yeah, of course, she literally just put a slob of butter on it. It was trash. Or whenever I make spaghetti, she will start dumping sugar into the sauce to a point of sweet spaghetti that make me and the kids outright refuse to touch because it's nasty. Maybe she's doing this because she wants to eat the food. We're only halfway through this first one and already you're not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law is a weirdo. Every single time she can get away with it, she's doing something to the food. Anyways, my husband has started doing the same thing. I went to make homemade mac last night and cheeseburgers. I went to the basement to the chest freezer to grab the veggies I needed. When I came back upstairs, my husband was putting canned chicken into the mac and cheese. He knows the kids absolutely hate the taste of that, and his sister was pushing blocks of blue cheese into the partially cooked burgers. I'm so sorry, what is going on here? They literally trying to like sabotage you. That's basically what they're doing. They're trying to sabotage you and poison you at the same time. I asked what the hell they thought they were doing because I've told them so many times to stop messing with the food, and neither of them had any good excuse other than we were just helping. I flipped out and told them to get the F out of the kitchen. Both of them told me I was overreacting, etc, etc. You absolutely are not overreacting because you literally imagine this in any other situation. I don't know, let's say you've got a car and someone like starts changing like the gears and like the inside of the car. In a way, that's basically what they're doing to your food. The thing is, I've openly asked my sister-in-law to cook several times and she won't. She won't stop messing with the food I'm making. My husband cooks often. I don't care if he screws with the food he makes, but it really pisses me off when my cooking is messed with and he knows that. I'm an a-hole. You're absolutely not the a-hole. Your husband and the sister-in-law are weirdo. What you should do is get like a little knife and start stabbing them. Actually, don't do that, you get arrested. Maybe you should like start to taser them or shock them, or maybe next time pour like laxatives into like their food so it means that they'll like poo themselves. That'll teach them quickly. I don't think you're an a-hole, but let's see what Reddit has to say. Not the a-hole, especially considering they're just making your job harder by making your food inedible for your kids. Your sister-in-law has overstayed her welcome. Exactly, if I were you, I'd start mentioning about sister-in-law to move out. Be like, yeah, sweetheart, you're 38, get out. Oh, I just couldn't imagine that. Oh. And yet again, if they want to do that their own food, it's completely fine. You know, it's your food, do whatever you want. However, don't do it to the whole cooking. You know, if you want a bit more butter in your steak, put butter on it. Don't put butter in everyone's food. I'm an a-hole for being pissed there was no alcohol at the wedding. One of my best friends, male 35 and 34, got married last week. He drinks alcohol and our group will meet up for breeze a few times a month to hang out. His fiance, now wife, does not drink. It's never been part of her life. My wife and I got a hotel room by the reception space and Uber to the wedding. The ceremony occurs. We go to what's supposed to be a cocktail hour and there was just soda and water. No alcohol. This was not something we knew about ahead of time. There was a palpable buzz among our friend group at the lack of booze. A lot of us had spent money in a hotel and Ubering anticipating drinking. I'm kind of pissed. Well, tough luck, sunshine, it's not your wedding. If it's a no alcohol wedding, there's usually a reason. Either they don't want to pay for it, there's going to be people who are maybe past alcoholics there, or maybe they just don't want to deal with drunk people. Bride and groom come to cocktail hour. Everyone cheers, and when the bride and groom come mingle with us, I ask where is the booze. His new wife chimes in saying her family does not drink and they were paying for the wedding, thus no alcohol. I tell them we should know that ahead of time. I said I wasted money in a hotel room and Ubering. I would have just driven if I'd known, or maybe not even have come. I'm sorry, what? You're not going to come to a wedding because there's no alcohol? The bride does not take my commentary well and implies I might have a drinking problem. I don't only drink with my friend. Groom says I don't need to be such an a-hole. I retaliate that I spent a bunch of money on something I didn't need. We all did. Bride's pissed at me and asked me to leave. My wife and I leave, but it's clear I touched a nerve. In our group chat, friends were mixing me saying something. My wife said I wasn't wrong, but my timing was wrong, so was I the a-hole? Absolutely you are. Also, I'm gonna say that might not be the real reason why there's not alcohol there. Usually people make up an excuse like, oh, my family don't drink, blah blah blah. There's usually another reason, or maybe that is the reason. You know, maybe one of her parents had alcohol issues, maybe there was like younger people there, I don't know, or maybe just didn't want to deal with the like shenanigans of drunk people. But this is meant to be your best mate and apparently you weren't gonna go if there was no alcohol. You're a weirdo. I was gonna say not the a-hole and then I read ... I tell them we should know ahead of time. I say I wasted money in a hotel room and Ubering. I would have just driven if I'd known, or maybe not even a come. You said this to someone who's supposedly your best friend at his wedding. What is wrong with you? You're the a-hole. I hope you find some better friends now. Exactly. Ugh. It's just a weird thing to do, isn't it? If you can't go one event or even without a drink, you've got a real issue, mate. I'm an a-hole for not wanting to play a game my girlfriend created. I, 27 male, and my GF, 24 female, has been working on a visual novel game as a side project for almost 2 years and recently finished it. She wanted me to play it, but I initially declined since I'm not into visual novels or reading long stories, but after she begged me, I gave it a try and played for a good 15 minutes. Now I can tell she put a lot of effort into writing and the art, and it was a good start, but I just got tired of reading and stopped. She asked what I thought and wanted me to eventually finish it and tell her what I thought about the choices and the ending, but I told her I had no plans to. She looked shocked and asked if it was boring. boring. I told her no, it's just that I'm not into this type of genre, and she knows I'm not into reading but asked me to make an exception this time since she made it. I got upset because I think she is being childish and wants to blackmail me into doing something I don't want to. After I made it clear I wasn't continuing, she hasn't talked to me. I already know she is talented and smart, so just because I don't want to play doesn't mean I don't support her. Some of my friends agree she's being immature, but others think I should be more supportive, so I'm an a-hole. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say you are a bit of an a-hole. Put it this way, if she spent 2 years doing something, just pretend you like it. Just do what she wants. She spent a lot of time. Imagine you made like a song or like an album or like I don't know about, and she was like, oh yeah, you know, read it, I want to know what you think about it. Just read for it and lie, you know, you don't have to act like that, because now this probably upset her. She spent 2 years of her life making this game and you basically just told her it was boring. I'm an a-hole for not wanting people at our pool. My fiance and I own a house with a pool in the backyard. His brother Jay had asked the day before if him and his family, wife and 3 kids, could come over on Sunday to swim after one of our kids' sports games, which was at a park close by us. My fiance and I own a business together that requires WFH, which is work from home on Sundays. Everyone that we know is aware of this, including his brother. I voiced my opinion. I felt it was weird for people to be at our house while we were working in the basement. The fiance assured it would just be chill. He said it's normal for family to use people's pools even if they weren't home. Is it? I mean, maybe if they're like in-house and in the back garden, but if they're not home, that's a bit weird. Could you imagine going to like your siblings' house and going for their house and like playing in their garden? I don't know if that's a thing everyone does. So we let them come thinking that they would swim for maybe an hour and then leave. But it wasn't just them. Fiance's parents also came. We figured they would. But the kicker is that Jay also invited 2 of his friends plus their partner and their kids as well. We do know these people, but both fiance and I are not aware of this beforehand. Okay, this is where the issue is. Quite clearly there has been a communication error. You obviously thought it was a certain amount of people, but now they've brought extras. This isn't that good, I won't lie. So now it's a full-on party in our backyard while we are working in the basement. I became very annoyed that they did not only invite themselves but some of their friends as well. It made me feel guilty that I couldn't be in my own backyard to host people because I was working. It also felt like they were just using the house and didn't really care about seeing us, the homeowners. Not to mention the house was a complete mess. We had a busy Friday and Saturday and I didn't bother cleaning much because I figured they would just be Jay's family. Yeah, so I understand exactly how you feel already. I'm gonna say you're not the a-hole. If a situation like this happens in the future, maybe ask them who actually is coming, and if they plan on bringing other people, just say no, it's only for our family. Everyone was here from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. We finished work around 3 p.m, at which time fiance put on his swim trunks to join them outside. I got in a pretty bitter mood from it and stayed inside. I didn't say hello to anyone because I figured they weren't even here to see me, just my pool. I did some laundry and some clearing up, and I did end up seeing a few people who were coming inside to use the washroom. I said hi and tried to make some small talk, but I wasn't really happy. Fiance came in and said I was creating an awkward atmosphere by not being outside. I told him I never planned to have a party today, so I was just carrying on doing what I originally had planned, which was laundry and cleaning. Fiance keeps saying I was rude for not joining him outside after work. He also says things like the pool is meant to be used and that it's family time. I'm an a-hole. Oh, no, I'm not gonna say you're not. Obviously, this is a bit of a communication error. You know, you thought only a few people were coming. However, a lot more people came. Put it this way, imagine if you were going to meet your friend and you thought you were just meeting them and then they bring another friend. It's kind of like, oh, here, you didn't know you were coming. Is it the end of the world? No. But maybe next time your fiance should explain to you in more detail, maybe like actually figure out who actually is coming. Not the a-hole. You're not obliged to host a party you didn't want with people you didn't invite. Exactly, it's like you literally didn't know how many people were coming. You probably thought like 1 or 2 people were coming. Now they had a full-on party, so you're not the a-hole. I'm an a-hole for tattling how my cousin died. If you don't know what tattling means, it basically means tell people how he died. So I don't know, let's say someone died in a car crash, you say, oh, he died in a car crash. I'm assuming these people probably don't know. My grandma has always gushed over my cousin Mel, 23. He had a troubled life, started doing drugs in middle school. He lived with my grandma after he did jail time twice in his short life. My grandma acted like he was just a misunderstood boy and he was too smart for his own mind. I feel like she enabled him to death. Okay, that's a very extreme thing to say about your granny. At the funeral, she was telling a family member he always had health problems and Mel died of a heart attack, acting like it was some tragic incident that a young man died and hospital was incompetent or something. I interrupted my grandma and said Mel died from meth laced with fentanyl. He was dead before he made it to the hospital and Mel is not some sort of effing tragic hero. Okay, this is just cruel. You don't say this at your cousin's funeral to your granny. My grandma called me a nasty little tattletale and to stop airing the family's dirty laundry. Mel was a good boy, just trouble. I was asked to leave with my parents and my grandmother Mel's mum said I was a horrible kid, bad mouthing me to my parents. My dad had a fuel to my fire saying at least I won't ever have to look at my kid in a casket from dying from a meth overdose. My grandma has been crying on the phone to my mum about how horrible we all are and other family members think it was unnecessary for us to point out Mel's death and we could have tried to soothe my grandma in her grave. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with the family members, that's awful. If you're gonna have a conversation like this, you have it at another time, not at the actual funeral. And by the way, your dad sounds horrible. I mean, you're the a-hole for interrupting your grandmother to speak ill of the dead at their own damn funeral. Grow up, you can disagree and think whatever you want about Mel's past, but why rub salt in the wounds of those who are already mourning? At least we know where you got your crappy attitude from. Exactly, and also people deal with grief differently. That granny obviously is going for a lot. She was very, very close to this Mel kid, and you've treated both of them with absolutely no respect whatsoever. So yeah, guess what? You're an a-hole. Anyways, guys, that's really that video there. If you want to see me look at more posts from the subreddit, let me know, definitely will. Press the bell, subscribe, and see you all tomorrow for another video.